Pakistan, we are holding another live session because of the claims made by Baloch group, which are so big that it is scary. That if this is really happening to Pakistan, how is Pakistan army even going to sustain it? It clearly indicates that the Baloch groups are very persistent, and they probably, in all likelihood, might get what they actually want, which is freedom of Balochistan. Even before I start, let me give you the latest count by Balochistan Liberation Army. This came about half an hour back, and we have uploaded their latest videos in our shorts. We did not want to upload it here because the moment we upload those videos here, it goes into it gets yellow flagged by YouTube. So I'll start the figures that I'll give the figures that BLA has put out. It says 280 Pakistani soldiers killed, 17 have been captured. They are still captured and they're still under Baloch Liberation Army's they're still under Baloch Liberation Army, and Baloch Liberation Army itself has lost about 35 of its men and women. This particular attack is very different from other attacks by Baloch Liberation Army because it has, there are lot of women used. When I say lot of, I can at least see 4 of them, and Baloch Liberation Army have even put out their names and they've put out their videos. So I'll explain all of it, but before that, so out of the 35 Baloch men and women who belong to BLA, who've been killed, 18 were Fidain. So there are 18 suicide attacks which took place. 10 of them, out of the 35, 10 of them were from Fatah squad. Fatah squad of BLA is the squad which is involved in high value target attacks. They are also involved in blocking roads. They block the main roads, main and important highways which connect Balochistan to rest of Pakistan. You would have usually seen these notices put out by BLA where they specifically mention Fatah squad when there are any road blockages which are being carried out. And then it says it lost 7 of its men and women. I'll tell you why I said women. 7 of its special tactical operations squad, that means they are commandos. 7 commandos of Balochistan Liberation Army in these attacks. There were 64 coordinated attacks across 16 cities. If you go back to my live 2 days ago, I had said 11 cities, and that's a smaller number now. Right now, this is the 4th day in which these, this is the 4th day to which this is the 4th day of the attacks that I made. I'm so sorry. I'm just overwhelmed by the numbers. It's the 4th day of the attacks, and this is as per BLA's claim. They put out their latest statement just half an hour ago, and this is what I'm reading out from their notice that they have put out. They have very clearly claimed that they have attacked ISI, the spy agency of ISI's headquarters in Nushki, and then they have also captured Pakistan Army military intelligence. Military intelligence is probably one of the first lines of defense of any army, and they have captured BLA have captured the MI headquarters, military intelligence headquarters in Tump. And we have one of our latest shots on YouTube is from Tump, where it shows, where BLA shows that its men have captured the Pakistan Army camp and the military headquarters of Pakistan Army in Tump. So 35 Baloch BLA men and women killed, 280 Pakistani soldiers killed, 17 captured. Now the next point, as I mentioned, is the ISI headquarters, which has been attacked. In fact, it was attacked by a woman suicide bomber. As I said earlier, women have played a very important part because they are, they usually do not undergo as many security checks as men. I know it myself. Even at the airport, we do not undergo as many security checks. So BLA and Balochistan is no different. So ISI HQ was attacked. If my sources are right, 1 senior officer has been killed, but this has not been confirmed by BLA. So I can only claim that my source said it. I cannot produce any proof of it. Then we had also put out a very exclusive list of the Pakistani soldiers who were killed on 2nd of February. And on 2nd of February itself, there were 21 Pakistani soldiers who were killed, 50 injured, and 7 were missing. These are Pakistani soldiers, mostly from the Frontier Corps. Frontier Corps is different from Pakistan Army. And in that list, there was one major rank officer of SOW, which is Special Operations Wing of Frontier Corps. And so a major rank officer from that wing, that SOW of Frontier Corps Balochistan, was also injured. I don't see any officer rank killed in that attack, but as I said, in the ISI HQ attack, our sources have confirmed that one senior officer was killed and one was injured. I do not have the proof as of yet, and BLA has not claimed it. This attack was carried out by the Balochistan Liberation Army men in uniform. They were wearing uniform of Frontier Corps, and this is why it became very difficult for Pakistani forces initially to differentiate between those attacking and those who actually belong to FC. That was a very smart move. In fact, this is something that BLA would have learned from Pakistan Army's strategic operation, tactical operation books itself, because I remember this incident from 2003, I think. It happened in Kashmir, that 23 family members were killed, and they were all Kashmiri Pandit. In that attack, the Pakistani terrorists were wearing Indian Army soldiers' uniform, and when those people came and knocked at the door of the family where like 23 or 30 people were living, 23 were definitely killed, and it included a small child. I'm sure all of you know of that incident. So I won't be surprised if BLA has adopted Pakistan Army's strategies and it has managed to fool Pakistan Army using their own strategies. Now, another one of the point that I wanted to cover in this live session was the involvement of Lashkar-e-Taiba. I'm so sure if you've been following our channel that you would have noticed that one of the videos that we posted almost a week ago belonged to a Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorist, Rana Ashfaq. He had gone to Balochistan to meet the Balochistan leaders. Basically, he was sent by ISI to negotiate peace, and it failed. Actually, what had happened was, very early in January, Balochistan Liberation Army had put out a hint that Operation Hiraf is coming. And if anyone knows about Operation Hiraf 1.0, they would know that Operation Hiraf 2.0 would only be bigger and would be, it would cause more damage to the Pakistan Army. So, now that I've mentioned Hiraf 1.0, I'll also explain it. So, Hiraf 1.0 that was the first version of Hiraf Hiraf series of attacks. Hiraf, the word itself means black storm, and 1.0 was carried out in 2024, in which Balochistan Liberation Army had killed, I think they had claimed 60 Pakistani soldiers were killed, and officially about 40 to 50 Pakistani soldiers were killed is what was accepted by Pakistani government. That's almost close. It's very close, and BLA itself had lost about 21 of its men. Back then, there were only men involved in that operation, unlike this one. Operation 2.0 is much larger, and if you've gone through the videos, these guys are using all sorts of weapons. It's surprising. So, coming back to Lashkar-e-Taiba, Rana Ashfaq was also sent few months ago to Balochistan to meet ISKP, which is the ISIS version of Khorasan, which is like Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Iran. ISKP members, and this guy Lashkar-e-Taiba man was sent again earlier this month to earlier last week to negotiate peace, and it failed. It's clearly visible. I'm sure Baluchistan Liberation Army is not in a mood to give up, and it makes sense. It makes complete sense. Going by the number of disappearances, going by the kind of treatment which is meted out to Baluch, um, it is it's just high time that Baluchis protested against what was being done by Pakistan army, and the presence of Chinese only exacerbated the situation. Um, One of the important pictures that came out was that of drones. What is interesting is that Pakistan army and Baluchistan Liberation Army, they both used drones against each other. Now, of course, BLA was using the smaller drones which could only drop mortars, and I'm sure those videos will also be released by BLA. But BLA has already released picture of the drones that they were using, and they also targeted the Gwadar port. Gwadar port is actually a part of the Gwadar port belongs to China, and this is where Chinese marines reside. In fact, within the Gwadar port, there is a walled community just for the Chinese, and nobody can enter there. It is like China having its own embassy in Gwadar port. So this is why Gwadar port keeps coming under attack, and uh, China is not very happy with Pakistan when it comes to this. I mentioned that women participated. I'm sure by now you all know, you would have seen pictures of at least few. What I would like to mention is a special mention of two women. One was a commando. Just now, even just like I think 5 or 10 minutes before I came live, I went live. I saw this statement put out by BLA that they have lost one of their well-trained women commando who belonged to the Fatah squad. As I said earlier, Fatah squad carries out attacks on high-value targets, and it's involved in roadblocks and similar attacks. So there was this woman called Durjan, and she was a Fatah squad commando. She was killed today, so she managed to outsmart the Pakistani forces for good 3 days. The another woman was Hatem Naz. She is a 60-year-old woman. Now that really surprised me. I've never seen someone 60-year-old join militancy and carry out such attacks. She was a Fidain, so obviously she was involved in the suicide bomb attack that was carried out, and this happened from what I remember in Nushki. There were two other women. One was just a 27-year-old Yasma. She was the one who was wearing dark color suit, and it was her video which came out the first. Like as as soon as the hero of 2.0 series of attacks started, BLA released her video, and when she was killed, I can't really tell you how what kind of language was used by pro ISI IDs for her. Anyway, that just goes on to show their own culture. Another interesting video was that of a Baluchistan Liberation Army guy holding a manpad. That shocked a lot of people. In fact, even under the video that we have posted, many were surprised to see that the manpad this man was firing, it is, air defense system which is can be fired from your shoulder, and it had very low recoil. It is most probably Igla 7. I cannot confirm this, but professionals saw the video and they commented, not under the video, but on my WhatsApp status. So there's this friend of mine who's a commando. He said, "Ma'am, this is most likely Igla 7." And I said, "Okay, that's great information, because Igla 7 is Russian." Is Russian origin, and I really expected that BLA would be using something American, because BLA is known to use American gear, American assault rifles, even the scopes. So then there was this video of Khwaja Asif. Khwaja Asif is a minister of defense of Pakistan who went on record to say that it is very difficult to handle Balochistan. And his reasons were that Balochistan Liberation Army men and women are better equipped than our own people. So Actually, he's right. This is one of the reasons why FC Baluchistan was going to be. FC Baluchistan is Frontier Corps Baluchistan, and there was another paramilitary force in Baluchistan which is going to be merged with police, and they revolted and they protested against it. That's when that decision was taken back. This was just few months ago. So Khwaja Asif also said that the assault rifles carried by the Balochistan Liberation Army men and women, one assault rifle can cost up to 20 lakh rupees in Pakistani currency, and the scopes that they are using cost about $4,000 to $5,000. So it is very difficult for Pakistani forces to counter the Baluch cadre. That's not really surprising. From the very beginning, if you've been following us since 2023, 2024, you would have noticed that I have always expressed surprise at the kind of attacks that Balochistan Liberation Army has been carrying out. They are very strategic. They carry out attacks with surgical precision, and they usually attack to kill ratio is 1:2, and that's very high compared to TTP. TTP's strategy is very different compared to how BLA works. In fact, BLA was the first group within Pakistan which announced that it has a medical corps, it has an intelligence wing, it has a Fatah squad. Fatah squad is HVT and like I said, road blockages. Then they have special tactical operations squad which is called STOs, and then of course there's the Fidain squad. So Baluch, I had not seen TTP work like that. TTP was very random in its attacks earlier. Their strategy was to overwhelm Pakistani soldiers with their numbers, because TTP has very high, like there are a lot of Pashtun involved in TTP, and their numbers are very high. So they can really overwhelm the Pakistani soldiers. But Balochistan Liberation Army is just the opposite. They carry out attacks in small numbers, and that is why their losses are very less compared to TTP, and they've been very effective against Pakistani forces. This is basically guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare is when as civilians, the terrorists, here we cannot call them terrorists. They are actually militants who picked up arms against Pakistani forces because of the treatment meted out to them. But officially, US and other countries have called BLA a terrorist organization. This is why a lot of times our videos are yellow flagged the moment we release them, because they claim we are glorifying these groups. I'm not glorifying this. I'm not glorifying any group. I'm merely saying that I'm awed by the kind of attacks that these groups carry out, and we can take a leaf out of these groups and how they carry out their attacks against Pakistani forces. In fact, just few months ago, Pakistan was shocked by the fact that Israeli group, there's this Israeli think tank which is run by ex-Mossad of intelligence officer. That think tank had gone on to announce that they are starting a Balochistan project. That headline itself had managed to shock a lot of Pakistanis. Let me assure you that Israel has been funding militancy within Balochistan since very long. This so because the easiest access to Iran is through Pakistan, and it's through Balochistan, which connects Iran and Balochistan. If you've seen the geography of Balochistan, you will know that place is very difficult to man. Pakistani resources are spread thin on Pakistani side, and the Sistan Balochistan side of Balochistan, which is in Iran, that part is manned by Iranian forces, IRGC. Both Iran and Pakistan find it extremely difficult to counter militancy in this area because of the geography of Balochistan. This is exactly what Khwaja Asif was also saying, and it's understandable. But then this is exactly what Pakistani forces have been doing against India. So I do not have any sympathy for Pakistan at this point. And Balochistan, by the way, before I end, I think I've taken 20 minutes of your life. I hope I have contributed. Before I leave, there's something that really, really surprised me. It was the Balochistan group giving out its statement in Brahui and Baluchi. Let me go back to one of our very old documentaries on Brahui language, which is used by a lot of Baluchis. Brahui is a language spoken inside Balochistan, and it has a connection to Tamil Nadu. This so because apparently some people from the southern India at some point would have lived in Balochistan in ancient times, and this is why Brahui still exists. You'll be shocked at the number of similarities that Brahui has with Tamil and Sanskrit. So it surprised me that Baluch group decided to give their statement in Baluchi and Brahui. Probably they are trying to claim that we are less Pakistani and more Indian. I hope that is what they are trying to say. And it's the fourth day of the attack. All the best to them. And yeah, that's it. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. Everything that I wanted to cover in my notes has already been covered. I'll just go through the comment section. If there is any interesting question, I'll. FC is kind of confusing. Sounds footballish. We have FF here. That's somebody's comment in the comment section. Yes, FC means Frontier Corps. It's a paramilitary force of Pakistan. Okay, there's something that I want. Okay, there's one more thing that I wanted to mention before I leave. So, because I live outside India, I do get to meet a lot of Pakistanis. Each time I interact with them, they're good to me till I mention the Kashmir issue. Usually, I'm not the first one to mention the Kashmir issue. The moment I mention Kashmir issue, the moment they understand that I understand the Kashmir issue well and that I understand Balochistan issue too, Pakistanis tend to get offended. So they would at some point try to provoke me by mentioning Kashmir, and then when I mention Balochistan in the reply, it really irks them. What surprises me is every time I'm talking to a Pakistani, it is them that it's usually them who brings up the Kashmir issue first, and when I give them an apt reply, which I think is apt, I'm not very loud, or I'm usually very soft spoken, so I'm usually only sarcastic when I mention Balochistan. But the moment I mention Balochistan, trust me, it really irks Pakistanis. So I know that's a soft spot which really hurts Pakistani forces. That's the end of it. Thank you so much for supporting our channel. If you like the content, like, share and subscribe. This was a live session. If I have made any mistakes, please pardon me.